where I get killed.
They should have been here by now.
They are not in. You said it was all arranged. Wait a minute. They said 7 o'clock.
I know, but they had to go out. Emergency. One of our musicians isn't well. He fell down the stairs and broke his arm. They must be at the hospital with him.
Aren't they anxious to know who their lovely Lata is marrying?
Actually, they couldn't care less of who or what you are, as long as you let me dance.
And what if I whisk you away to Dubai and sell you to a sheikh?
Well, at least I'll still be dancing in his harem. No, seriously, they are not worried.
What kind of parents are they?
I told you, they are different.
Do you tell them about my father?
Yes,
That he runs a mithai shop on Commercial Street.
yes, and that he owns half of the buildings on that road.
I hope they don't think they have got a big one.
I hope you don't think that you have got a big one.
Why should I think that?
Simple, I'm the sole heir of this property. It's worth quite a lot.
This? Quite old fashioned. High ceiling and all. The wood is probably rotting. But at least it's huge.
Right in the center of the town. Do you know how much this land is worth? A Marwadi builder offered my father 19 lakhs. He wants to build a shopping complex.
So is he selling it?
No, he would never do that. My parents have spent all their lives here. My mother's house, I'm told, was just 5 buildings away. Nobody is there now. Even before they were married, she used to practically live here. They practice dance under the same guru. Come, I'll show you where we practice.
Wow.
Most of these instruments are the same ones my parents used. Almost 40 years old. Can you believe it? These are the same bells my father wore in his debut. Ooh, I get goosebumps every time I touch them. This room has something special in it. Can you feel it? This floor has felt a million adava over and over again. Feel that?
I hear it too.
When I was a little girl, I used to stand near the door and watch mommy and daddy practice. It was like magic for me. I knew that what I wanted to be. Vishwas, when we are married, you will allow me to come here to practice. Won't you?
Of course, Lata.
Oh, thank you.
You have tea?
We don't make tea in this house.
Well, you better get used to making a tea. Me marrying a Saudi, my father will tolerate. But accepting a daughter-in-law who doesn't make tea is asking too much of him.
Hey, I'm not a Saudi. My father is a Gujarati.
Oh my God! Your father's a good Jew.
So,
And he doesn't drink tea.
mommy's influence, I suppose.
What a cruel thing to do to a good Jew. Not giving him tea. Your mother must be dominating the poor man.
No, she does not.
That's a relief. That sort of thing runs in the family, you know.
That's not true. My grandfather was the dominating type. But look at my father.
Your
He's-
grandfather? I thought he was dead.
He is now. He wasn't before. He died when I was still a baby. But I know all about him. He was a social reformer. He used to hold secret meetings in this very room during the British Raj.
Oh, a freedom fighter. And after we became free?
He must have had his hands full handling daddy, what with him wanting to be a dancer.
They must have had some terrific fights.
They must have. But daddy always had deep respect for him. That's why he would never sell this house. Do you know, most of this furniture is my grandfather's. My father refused to part with any of it. Everything here is at least 40 to 50 years old.
Over here. But in the living room, everything is quite new.
That wasn't there before. This was the living room, and there was a huge lawn in the front. My mother had the front extended. We allow very few people to come right in. Only musicians and dancers. Others we finish up in the living room.
I'm not a musician or a dancer. Then why didn't you finish off with me in the living room?
You are a part of the family.
Not yet. I still have to gain approval of our parents.
What has happened with them? Why is it taking them so long to return?
You still use such an old-fashioned phone.
That's also a part of the antique show. It's a dummy. It does not ring anymore. Beautiful, isn't it? Solid rosewood. They don't make cupboards like these anymore.
Oh wow! Look at that!
Isn't it splendid?
I'm going to ask for this as dowry.
No, he won't give it to you.
Why not?
Same reason why I won't sell the house. It belonged to my grandfather. It was a present to granddad from Mysore Maharaja. He got this and an award from the Maharaja during the Shera. Every time he had visitors, he would quickly wrap this around, no matter how hot it was. Now sit down while I'm going to make coffee for us.
Can I sit in the kitchen and watch you?
No thanks. I get nervous.
When my mother comes, she'll want to watch you make coffee. Be prepared.
First, my parents have to watch you. Make a monkey of yourself.
What a granddaddy she had. He must have been a terror. No wonder father is a weirdo. So, you want to be a dancer? Ha ha ha! Son, you will never amount to anything in life. Look at me. Look at what I have achieved. Yes, look, look, look. Where will you go being a dancer? Nowhere. What will you get being a dancer? Nothing. People will point at you on the street and laugh and ask, who is he? He is a dancer. What does he do? He is a dancer. Yes, but what does he do? He is a dancer. Sir, I got bored waiting. I love dancing. Not disco or anything like that. You know, our dances, there's so much more in them. You know what I mean? Lata?
Please put the shawl back.
Yes, yes. I'm sorry about it being a lovely shawl.
Give it to me. Please sit.
Lata!
I didn't hear you come in. What took you so long? Anyway, I'll quickly go and make coffee for all of us. Mummy, maybe you can make your special filtered coffee for him sometime? I'll be back in a minute. I'm sorry if I interrupted the friendly conversation.
use worrying.
Our life, I can't remember ever being in such a crisis.
It's not a crisis. Sheshadri will need only a day's rehearsal.
He won't have the time.
He won't be rehearsing with Chandrakala all day for 10 days.
When he's not rehearsing with her, he's sleeping with her.
You don't know that for sure. You mustn't listen to gossip.
I know this is none of my business, but aren't you staying away from the problem? From what I gather, the problem is that you need someone desperately within 10 days. Someone like this, Seshadri, but not Seshadri, because he's too busy. Maybe if I know what it is you want, then I could help.
Sorry, I took so long. Gas got over. I had to fill the cylinder. I should have called you for help, but I thought it may not be a good idea. So, what do you think of him?
We aren't thinking of him.
Your parents seem to have a problem, and I'm in the middle of it.
You are not. You don't even know what the problem is.
Lata, how are you not in a worry?
What about?
About Srinivas breaking his arm. Who will play the mridangam for your performance?
Oh my god! It didn't strike me! Of course! He broke his arm!
Why did it have to be him? I wouldn't have minded if Mutaliya had broken his neck.
C.V. Srinivas, our mridangist, he tripped on his dhoti.
This is a crisis.
It's a special talent. I mean, wearing a dhoti, you have to get the hang of it. I wore one once. You have got to kick it out of your way. Like a sari. Of course, I have never worn a sari, so I know what I'm.
Vishwas, do you mind? Please drink your Bonvita. This is serious.
I don't want it.
Where are you going?
To get an aspro for my headache.
You are always taking aspro. You are going to kill yourself. Stop taking those tablets.
I have to, Jairaj. I can't take this tension.
What tension? There's plenty of time. You are worried about nothing.
Nothing? Our daughter is giving performance that will make her career, and she is not going to have mridangam playing for her. How do you expect her to give her best? How do you expect her to dance? What will be announced to the President of India? There will be no dance tonight. Tell all those foreign diplomats to go home. In my life, I have had problems
Now
with you.
don't start.
Problems which you know about but conveniently forget.
Ratna, no.
I did not go through all that to see our daughter's career finish overnight.
It's not.
Finished! Just like me. Yes, your father was right. Dance has brought us nowhere. It's a curse on us. Nothing seems to be worth it anymore. It is also worthless. You should have listened to your father. He was right. We were never anything great, never will be, and nor will our daughter be anything except for an average human being.
Lata is not average.
If she can dance, what else can she be?
There were times when we didn't dance.
And look where we are.
We are fine. At least I am.
You are nothing but a spineless boy who couldn't leave his father's house for more than 48 hours.
Ratna, don't.
You stop being a man upon me the day you came back to this house.
For 40 years you have been holding
You're
back.
right. I'm worrying about nothing because nothing is what we are.
You are going mad.
Mummy, whatever happens, I'm going to dance
Will finding a musician make me a man?
Daddy!
Drink?
Not too much for me. Just a little.
Soda?
Well,
Good. We don't have any. Drink it neat.
what about you?
Straight from the bottle. Cheers. I'm not supposed to be drinking. So, your father is a pan wala,
Mithai wala.
makes a lot of money.
It's the family business. It's okay. My father has made really good money from his buildings.
Buildings, is it?
Yes.
Strange.
What?
That's how my father made his money.
Buildings?
Houses, bungalows. Bought them real cheap. When the British left, there was a real demand for these bungalows. He made a lot of money. One of the richest men in town, Amritlal Parekh, the Saint Ji of the city. Do you know what he did with all that? He spent it all in reconstructing India. Sounds very patriotic, doesn't it? All he did was give out a lot of personal loans to his friends and relatives. Gullible. That's what he was. My father.
My father could loan money to me if I wanted it.
Neither did my father. He gave it to everyone except me.
Why?
What is dancing? Hmm? The craft of a prostitute to show off her wares? What business did a man have in learning such a craft? Of what use could it be to him? No use. So no man would want to learn such a craft. Hence, anyone who learns such a craft could not be a man. How could I argue against such logic?
But you fought back. That's good. You did what you wanted to do.
Brave.
Yes, and brave too.
Words. Brave words. That's all.
What happened?
What happened? Nothing. Didn't you hear my wife? Nothing is what we are. After 40 years, she tells me that she doesn't think of me as a man. Just a spineless boy. And you know what I think? I think she is right.
You must have hated your father. Lata told me you respected him a lot.
she say that?
Yes, that's why you have kept this portion unaltered, almost like a shrine in the memory of him.
Rubbish. This was my world. I have kept it the same because it was mine. This is where I spent my childhood. I removed his memories. The garden pulled it all out from the roots. When Ratna and I made some money from our dance school and performances abroad, we extended the front of the house.
And the shawl? Why have you kept his shawl? It's a beautiful shawl. I asked Lata if you'd give it to me as dowry. Just joking, you understand. I don't want anything. She said you wouldn't part with it because it was your father's.
Fathers. Let me see how you look wearing it.
It's fantastic. It will go very well with the sherwani.
You can have it when you're married to Lata.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
It's just a shawl. Most boys would ask for a Maruti van.
No, I wasn't thanking you for the shawl. Thank you for agreeing to our marriage. You approve of me.
I approve of you,
Yes.
and you approve of us.
Yes.
Good. Then go home and ask your father to call me sometime.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good day to you, sir.
Jairaj, I have decided we could ask Chandrakala to lend Seshadri as a favor. She may need our help someday, so she's bound to oblige.
Good thinking.
It is settled then. I will call her in the morning.
What do you think of Vishwas?
Who?
That boy Lata brought home tonight. I have just agreed to them getting married. That's all.
He is well off, isn't he?
From what he told me, yes.
And he will let her dance.
Yes.
In that case, just make sure the wedding is after the Navratri festival.
Your last memory. Soon I'll be rid of you too. Then I won't see you wearing this shawl, walking about this room. I won't see you wearing this shawl. I won't see you wearing this shawl, walking about this room. Walking about, wearing this shawl. Jairaj! Jairaj!
What?
When I call for you, please show your face.
What is it, father? I'm in the middle of an item.
What? Still in the middle? How long will it last?
I don't know. Guruji decides when to pack up. Could you tell me, father, what you want? Guruji doesn't like to be kept waiting.
I want this sin to stop. I am expecting some people, and I want those musicians out before they arrive.
They will leave before your guests arrive.
I want them out now. I can't have some peace and quiet in my house. It was bad enough having had to convert the library into a practice hall for you.
Why did you do it if you didn't want to?
I thought it was just a fancy of yours. I would have made a cricket pitch for you on our lawn if you were interested in cricket. Well, most boys are interested in cricket. My son is interested in dance, I thought. I didn't realize this interest of yours would turn into an obsession.
Didn't you have your obsessions?
If you mean my involvement in fighting for your freedom, yes, it was an obsession.
If you hadn't gained independence, where would your revolutions have led you?
I would like to see what kind of independence you gained from your antics.
The independence to do what I want.
I have always allowed you to do what you have wanted to do. There comes a time when you have to do what is expected of you. Why must you dance? It does not give you any income. Is it because of your wife? Is she forcing you to dance?
Nobody's forcing me.
She may be, by influencing you. Maybe it's her, not you. That's one thing I regret. Consenting to your marriage.
Don't pretend. It suited your image, that of a liberal-minded person, to have a daughter-in-law from outside your community.
Where does she go every Monday? You know, and you don't tell me.
Where are your progressive ideas now?
This is different. We are building ashrams for the unfortunate women, educating them, reforming them.
Reform. Don't talk about reform. If you wanted any kind of reform in our society, you'd let them practice their art.
Encourage open prostitution.
Send them back to their temples. Give them awards for preserving their art.
I will not have our temples turned into brothels.
And I will not have my art run down by a handful of stubborn, narrow-minded individuals with fancy, pretentious ideas.
Nobody is running down your art. It is the people who perform it, and for what reason that I am trying.
All right then. You should be pleased that people from respectable families like yours are interested in reviving this dance. You should be encouraging us instead of being a hindrance.
I have no objection to your efforts in reviving the art. But I definitely do object to the type of people you are associating with.
Who do you mean?
Your guru. What kind of family is he from?
Coffee. Coffee for the artist. Jay, do you want yours here or will you have it with Guruji? Jay, shall I keep your coffee here or will you sit with Guruji?
Give me the tray. I'll serve them. You can make tea for your father-in-law.
I will make tea in a minute.
I don't want any tea.
Really, it is no trouble.
Sit down. Sit down, Ratna.
What happened between you two? He looked upset.
Where were you yesterday?
I really must.
Where were you the whole of yesterday?
I told you where I was going.
You had informed me that you were going to the Shiva temple.
Yes, like I do every Monday.
Every Monday, is it?
Yes.
Times haven't changed. When we were newly married, Jai's mother and I were not allowed to go anywhere on our own. Especially not to see the moving pictures. But we were allowed to go to the temple. So whenever we wanted to see the moving pictures, we would tell everyone at home that we were going to the temple. Nobody stopped us.
If I wanted to see a film, I would tell you the truth.
What if it wasn't a film that you wanted to see? What if it was someplace else where you know I wouldn't want you to go?
Where would that be?
You know very well where, because that is where you go every Monday. It was fortunate for me that it was Patel who saw you going there. I can trust him to keep his mouth shut. He called me out of concern for our family name.
I haven't done anything to spoil the family name.
But people assume the worst.
Well, you can start by reforming such people
Don't
instead of...
preach to me. I know what I have to do.
I have always been taught to speak to my elders with respect. But since I haven't done anything wrong, there is no reason why I shouldn't speak up. Chinni Amma is the oldest living exponent of the Mysore school and is the only link we have with our old school. She doesn't have a single student who is dedicated enough to absorb her knowledge. She is 75 and dying, but she doesn't mind at all being poor and lonely. What she's really frustrated about is that in her youth, she did not have the freedom to express her art. All her childhood years were spent in training. All was waste for her. She spends her time now at the temple steps, selling flowers. When she came to know that I was a dancer, she greeted me and pleaded. Yes, pleaded with me to learn the art of aBhAy from her. It was important for her to impart her knowledge to someone worthy of it. And it was important for me to learn what she had to offer. So instead of going to the temple every Monday, I go to her house.
And practice in a courtyard for all passers-by to see.
Only those who are curious enough to peep over her walls to see where the sound of dancing bells are coming from.
The sound of your bells coming from the courtyard of a prostitute.
She is 75 years old!
And people peer over her walls to see my daughter-in-law dancing in her courtyard.
Yes, dancing the divine dance of Shiva and Parvati.
And you feel what you are doing is right?
Yes, my husband knows where I go. And I have his permission.
I don't want you seeing that woman again. That's final. And that is all I have to say. You may go. I'm sorry I've kept you from jingling your bells. My request is that you finish your session as quickly as you can and see that your guru leaves before my visitors arrive. God forbid that they should bump into one another.
Dress your best, woman.
I think it's over. Sorry?
I have to pay the musicians. Can I have the money? 4 rupees.
Yes. I'll give you the money now. You can pay them the 4 rupees and tell them never to set foot in this house again.
You promised to allow me to continue with my hobbies.
That was when you were a boy and dance was just a hobby. Grow up, Jairaj.
I don't want to grow up.
As long as you are under my care,
You can't stop me from doing what I want. Guruji! Why? Why did he leave? Kill my father? As long as we are under your care.
Where are you?
As long as we are under his care.
hello? Attain. Yes. I want a favor from you. The woman you saw my daughter-in-law with? Yes, that one. Could you send a doctor to see her? I believe she isn't well.
She went outside and now I don't think she's
And Patel, please give her a donation of 500 rupees on my behalf. I'll send you open tea. Please. I shall be grateful to you. Thank you.
That was very generous of you.
That was in compensation for depriving her of her only student.
Come on. I've packed some of your clothes. We are leaving.
Where?
We'll decide that later. First, let's get out of here.
But Jay, we haven't taken everything.
Never mind. As from now on, we are no longer under your care. And will never be again. Never!
Jay! Jairaj! Jairaj!
Jai? Jairaj? Jairaj? Oh, you are staying here? Come on. You know, I don't think it is such a good idea. Asking Chandrakala to lend Seshadri. They might plot to sabotage Lata's dance. He might give her the wrong color. People can't make out whose mistake it is and always blame the dancer. It happened once when Lalini had taken Saraswati's cousin for her show.
All right. I'll allow it. I realize, of course, that you have come back more out of necessity than any real intention of patching up what you have undone. I don't mind. And I don't gain much pleasure by reminding you that you had vowed never to come back to this house. But I definitely mind your silence. It never was my intention to get you to hate me. What parent would want that from his children? So I have changed my mind. I will allow you to dance. And I shall be very happy if you can earn your livelihood from it. But don't think you have the right to all of my wealth. I have far better things to do with it than hand it over to you. You may carry on using my library as your practice hall, and your guru may come here twice a week in the mornings. I hope I have made myself clear. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, very clear.
And you need not learn from anybody else. You understand?
You are very kind.
Do you know where a man's happiness lies?
No,
In being a man. Does Jairaj know where his happiness lies?
he does. But I don't think it fits in with your idea of where it should be.
Yes, I'm aware of that. And I am disappointed with that.
Well, I'm sorry that you're disappointed. There is nothing much I can do about it.
You can do a lot. I have seen the world, and I can recognize a clever woman when I see one. Tell me, how do you feel? How do you feel dancing with your husband? What do you think of him when you see him all dressed and made up?
You seem to forget. I married him because he's a dancer.
That's what he believes. I'm a little harder to convince.
It's the truth.
Or did you marry him because he would let you dance?
That too.
More of that than the first?
Well, yes.
And you are intelligent enough to realize now that the decision to let you dance is in my hands, not his.
Jairaj, you want to prevent him from dancing, don't you? In spite of what you said?
A woman in a man's world may be considered as being progressive, but a man in a woman's world is pathetic.
Maybe we aren't progressive enough.
That isn't being progressive. That is sick.
Then why did you tell him just now that he could dance?
Tell me, how good is he as a dancer?
He's good.
Good. Not brilliant. And you?
Well, if I practice hard,
Then you might become famous.
I might.
Just as I thought. He's wasting his time. Poor boy.
He isn't.
It's up to you now. Help me make him an adult. Help me to help him grow up.
How?
It is hard for me to explain. I leave it to you. Help me and I will never prevent you from dancing. I know it will take time, but it must be done.
I will try.
You'll have to do better than that.
All right. And once he stops dancing, what will you do with him then?
Make him worthy of you.
Lata, are you awake? Lata,
Doesn't she want to read her review?
she's afraid it is going to be bad.
But it's a rave review. Didn't you tell her?
I thought I would surprise her. Let her come down.
Did you read them? Telegraph and Times. Rave reviews.
Did you read Express?
No, let me see it.
Lata Parekh, star of the festival.
Lata excels. Wow.
Lata leaves rest behind. Wait till she reads this. Lata, come and read your rave reviews. Lata,
I'm coming.
Blessed with a supple figure and expressive face, Lata Parekh executed the Adava neatly and with precision.
her anga shuddha and grip over her rhythm stand head and shoulders above the rest, even surpassing veterans like Chandrakala Devi.
You see, haven't all the critics written good about Lata?
The discovery of the decade.
A shining star.
Thank you, one and all.
Congratulations, Lata. Now sit down and drink your coffee.
And read your reviews. Here, here, and here.
Vishwas, I hope you're staying for breakfast.
Oh, no thanks. I've had mine already.
It is only idlis. You can eat one or two.
I can't believe it. This one actually like my Tilana. Her sculpture poses and flourishes, but delightful to view. That's a laugh.
They were all very good, even though you made them all up.
But I like the poses. They did remind me of sculptures like, you know, the one you see on the postcards where the dancer is talking to a parrot or something.
In the Tilana, she wasn't supposed to be talking to a parrot.
Anyway, it looked good.
How can it look good? She had no business talking to a parrot in the middle of a Tilana.
Ah, but we didn't know that. And I liked the way she finished with a flourish. We knew then it was time to clap.
Drink your coffee.
This one is hysterical. Her rendition of the Ashtapadi from Gita Govinda was tenderly intense and intensely tender. The audience was transported to Gokula and witnessed Radha pining over her divine lover who has failed to arrive. Lata's cheerful expression and heaving bosom conveyed all that was humanly possible. My bosom was heaving because I was breathless from the Varnam.
I didn't quite like that one.
You didn't like Jaydev's Gita Govindam?
Oh no,
No?
oh no. I mean, I don't have anything against him.
Then what is it that you didn't like?
Well, nothing. Well, on second thoughts, I quite liked it. Now, if you don't mind, I have to rush to the shop and supervise the making of jalebis.
Won't you stay for breakfast?
No, I really must go before the cook steal all the ghee. I'll just make my excuses to your mother and be on my way.
What do you think of him?
A bit strange, isn't he?
He has his quirks, like the rest of us.
Wonder what his father is like.
You'll soon meet him.
I think you'd probably see how your mother is feeling.
What's wrong?
She's sitting there in the kitchen and crying.
Mummy?
Mind you, she might be cutting onions. I didn't notice.
She will be all right.
If you want, I could stay. But I should really be going. So if you don't mind, bye. Bye. Strange people.
It is all right. Why don't you go up and lie down for a while?
No, I'm okay.
Sit down. Shall I make you some coffee?
No. Just put the cooker on the stove.
Breakfast isn't ready. What were you doing in the kitchen? Any particular reason for this change in mood?
Don't you have changes in moods?
Yes, but I don't sit in the kitchen crying.
No. You sit in this room drinking.
I strongly recommend it. It keeps you from crying. Look at me. I never cry.
That is because you are a man.
Thank you. I haven't been so complimentary on previous occasions.
Now don't start.
All right. We won't discuss my gender. Let's talk about you.
Same thing. You talk about me, we talk about you.
Not if I choose the subject.
What subject?
Shankar.
Anything but that. Please.
Oh, that displeases you immensely, doesn't it?
God, say it. Do your worst. I'm too tired to fight it.
No, that would be too easy. Let's talk about something else.
You never talk. You attack.
That I learned from you. Let's talk about Lata.
What about her?
She's a dancer.
Of course, everyone has recognized that now. After my efforts
Our
that...
efforts.
Yes.
And you are happy for her?
What a question to ask.
Are you happy for her?
Of course, she's on her way to fame, which is what I wanted for her. She had my blessings and guidance, and now that her performance has been noticed by the right people, it shouldn't be very difficult for her to... naturally, she will have to practice very hard and take her career very seriously. Then there's this foreign festival. I shall try my level best to see that she's included. I will use all my contacts to see that she is in. Yes, I have every reason to feel happy.
Have you read the reviews?
Not all of them. Not yet.
Why didn't you read them earlier?
Well, I will read them now. I was busy earlier with Vishwas dropping in and then...
He brought the papers.
Yes, but I was in the kitchen then.
Weren't you interested in knowing what
I
kind
know
of
what
reviews?
kind of reviews she has
You
got.
haven't even
I
read-
have! Rave reviews! The star of the festival! The dancer of the decade! And why shouldn't she get reviews like these? I deserved it! Spending sleepless nights, arranging things, sweet talking the critics. My hard work has paid off! Has it did? Has it did?
Where are you going?
To paste these reviews in our album.
Our album?
Yes,
She deserves an album of her own.
we don't have another album in our house.
Well, it's time we did.
All right, you go and buy one. But these, I'm pasting in my album.
Our album.
Yes.
You're not pasting those reviews in our album.
I will.
They do not belong there. Those critics gave her good reviews because she deserved them. They weren't doing you any favors. Face it, woman.
Breakfast is ready. Come and get it.
I'm sorry, Ratna. I don't want to see you pasting those reviews in our album, pretending they are yours.
I'm serving hot idlis. Eat them while they're hot.
Come, let's have breakfast.
I'm not hungry.
Ratna! At least you have a daughter to be jealous of.
Walk in. The doors of hell are wide open. Come in, Ratna Devi, into the house of Shri Amrit Lal Parekh.
Quiet! You will wake
State
up.
of the house is not in. He is away receiving awards for serving the nation, while his Lakshmi of the house has been away receiving acclaim for her talents.
Shut up, Jay. You will wake the baby.
Oh, the baby! I forgot about him. Our little baby is fast asleep. Shh. We must not disturb him. Where are you going?
Up. The CP is all right.
Yes, let's go up to see if our baby is all right.
You stay here. You drunkard. Don't you dare come up.
Yes, yes. I'll stay here. You go and see how our little Shankar is sleeping. When he grows up, I'll teach him how to dance. The dance of Shiva. The dance of a man. And when he's ready, I'll bring him to his grandfather and make him dance on his head. The Tandava Nritya, the lord of the dance, beating his drums and trampling the demon. How is our little lord of dance?
I don't know. I was too scared to wake him. So I didn't turn on the lamp. I just stood by his side, but he didn't make a sound. Where is that new Aya?
Ugh.
I should have asked you to stay back. At least you would have been of some use here.
You didn't think I was useful there? I clapped the loudest.
Stop it! I'm going to bed. You can sleep here. Here. Don't bother coming up.
What a beauty you are. Is that why you like to dance? To have men admire your assets?
Why do you dance?
Oh, but I don't. I'm not good enough.
How can you be when you are drunk half the time?
Oh, I thought I drank because I wasn't good enough. Like the riddle, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
You can play all the riddles you want. I'm tired.
Wait. I want to talk.
Talk about what? Talk about how you insult me in front of others? How you make me feel ashamed of you? How disgusting you are? For God's sake, Jairaj, do something useful before it is too late!
Do something useful to you, you mean?
Do something, do anything, but stop this mockery!
Do anything except be a dancer. Do something useful like Whose fault is that?
You go on drowning yourself in country liquor and ask me, whose fault is that?
Whose fault is that only you get the invitations to dance?
Surely not mine.
For 1 full year. For 1 full year I refused to dance. Turning down offers because I didn't want to dance alone.
I didn't ask for such a sacrifice. Tell me, what do you want? I'll give you anything except for sacrificing my body and in return.
I want you to give me back my self-esteem.
When did I ever take it?
Bit by bit. You took it when you insisted on top billing in all our programs. You took it when you made me dance my weakest items. You took it when you arranged the lighting so that I was literally dancing under your shadow. And when you called me names in front of other people, names I feel ashamed to repeat even in private. And you call me disgusting.
You just don't want to face it. It is me they want to see dancing.
A young, beautiful woman. Yes,
A young, beautiful woman? And are you jealous of me for that? What kind of man are you?
oh, you are so clever. No wonder you get along well with him.
Get along well with whom?
My father? It was him, wasn't it?
I don't know what you are talking about.
Don't pretend. I'm not blind. Why did he allow us to dance? He knew he had us in his hands when we came back to him. We would have listened to anything he said.
You would have listened. Not me. He realized that he couldn't stop me. But he could stop you. Through me. Still he regrets it happened this way. And so do I. I shouldn't have let you off so that he could shape you in whatever shape he thinks a man should have. I should have guessed the result. When I say I regret it, I really mean it, Jay.
Oh, you are brilliant. I truly am jealous of you. You are quite a looker, quite a dancer, and quite an actress. One has to hand it to you. You really have style, not to mention brains. You destroy me first, then give the impression that there wasn't much to destroy in the first place. Then blame it all on my father and use words like regret and expect me to shrug my shoulders, resign myself and believe that my calling in the life is to serve you. Thank you. Thank you very much for the talk.
Oh, how easily you fool yourself! You think you're covered, don't you? Ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want freedom? You had it, but then you came back to your prison. Do you want to dance? Then why did you accept all those invitations when they came? Was it because of me? Or were you too afraid that your mediocrity would be exposed? Yes, ask yourself your true worth and you'll get your answer. And don't expect me to feel sorry for you because I'm too busy feeling sorry for myself and Shankar. When he'll grow a little older, he'll feel the need of a father. Oh, you would be around, all right. Where would you go? But all he will see is your exterior. It won't take him long to realize that nobody's home.
If you take the trouble to knock, you'll find someone home. Are you all there for Shankar? Where are you? He needs you now.
I know my duties and capabilities and have always taken pride in knowing where I stand.
No matter how clever an actress you are, you can't convince me that you are playing the part of a devoted mother very well. You wouldn't even know where to start.
I can start by ending this sick talk with you and feeding the baby. If you have nothing else to say, good night.
Feeding the baby. That won't be necessary. He's fast asleep. He won't miss his meal.
How would you know? He usually wakes up at this hour.
Not on the night you perform.
What do you mean?
Daya,
Go on!
you wouldn't know. An old trick handed down from one generation of Aya to the next. I know. I was raised by one.
Opium!
Effective, isn't it? Hasn't cried at all. Don't worry. They just give the right amount.
She too!
She too needs a restful sleep on the kitchen floor, same as her mother and her mother's mother.
She too has given. Shankar!
What do you mean? What did you say? She too has given Shankar? What did you say? She too has given Shankar? You too?
No!
It's settled. We move next month. The demolishers will arrive then. They will start with the front. That will be easy to pull down. The new portion. This may be a little more difficult. They made tough buildings in the old days. And tough people. But even tough people like my father get knocked down. We have moved to our flat, a posh flat. Our balcony overlooks the top of a gulmohar tree. Did I tell you that Lata had called? She said that her baby spoke her first word today. It sounded like jalebi. Today my liver ceased to function, and I followed suit. You died too, out of boredom, I suspect. Our flat is empty now. It belongs to Lata and Vishwas. I see you coming to what seems to be heaven, riding with death on a buffalo. You get off and I greet you. The buffalo vanishes. And we embrace. We smile. And we dance. We dance perfectly, in unison, not missing a step or a beat. We talk and laugh at all the mistakes we made in our previous dances. We were only human. We lacked the grace. We lacked the brilliance. We lacked the magic to dance like God.